Logan's phone buzzes on the coffee table. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession. I sit cross-legged on his plush couch, staring at the device while the shower runs in the background. Steam seeps under the bathroom door, carrying the scent of his expensive body wash. The same scent that once made my heart flutter now turns my stomach. The diamond on my left hand catches the afternoon sunlight, throwing tiny rainbows across the ceiling. 3 carats, princess cut. The ring Logan spent months saving for, he'd told me proudly. The ring my sister Taryn had called absolutely perfect, with that strange gleam in her eyes. The phone buzzes again. My fingers twitch. I've never checked his phone before. Never wanted to. Never needed to. But lately, those canceled weekend trips, the sudden work emergencies, the way he angles his screen away when texting. The shower squeaks off. I have maybe 2 minutes. My hand trembles as I reach for the phone. The passcode, my birthday, unlocks it instantly. The message preview makes my blood run cold. From Taryn. Miss you already, baby. Still taste you on my lips. More messages flood in. Photos. Words that burn my eyes. My own sister's name above explicit promises about their next meeting. I can't breathe. Can't think. But my fingers move automatically, taking screenshots, sending them to myself. Evidence. I need evidence, or I'll wake up tomorrow thinking this was just a nightmare. The bathroom door creaks. I look up to find Logan frozen in the doorway, towels slung low on his hips, water dripping from his dark hair. His eyes drop to the phone in my hand. Claire, he whispers. Just my name. Nothing else. The couch cushions sink as I stand. My engagement ring catches the light one final time as I slide it off, placing it carefully on the side table. The soft clink of metal on wood echoes in the silence. 6 months ago, I'd brought him home to meet my family. Mom and Dad had exchanged those worried glances they thought I couldn't see. But Taryn? God, Taryn had been so interested. Touching his arm while laughing at his jokes, letting her hand linger when passing him dishes at dinner. Only 11-year-old Grace had seemed genuinely happy for us, showing Logan her science project with unguarded enthusiasm. I'd been so blind. Claire, wait. Logan starts, reaching for me. I can explain. I walk past him without a word. My heels click against his hardwood floors, the same floors where Taryn must have. No, don't think about it. The coincidences make sense now. Taryn showing up at our favorite restaurant, running into us at the movies. The way she'd lingered after family dinners, offering to help clean up, while I drove Grace to her friend's house. My own joke echoes back at me. Better watch out, Logan. Taryn might steal you away. His uncomfortable laugh. The quick glance between them. Signs I'd dismissed. The elevator arrives with a cheerful ding that mocks my shattered world. Logan's voice carries down the hallway, calling my name. His footsteps pound against carpet. But the doors slide shut before he reaches me, and I lean against the mirrored wall, legs shaking. Now in the car, my phone erupts with calls and texts as I drive home. Each one from Logan, each one ignored. My chest constricts. Black spots dance at the edges of my vision. I pull over, gulping air that feels too thin. When the world stops spinning, I find myself parked outside my parents' house. The familiar white colonial with its perfect lawn and wrapped porch. The home where my sister still lives. Where she probably laughed about fooling me. I grip the steering wheel until my knuckles turn white. The dashboard clock blinks 4:47 p.m. Mom will be starting dinner prep. Dad will be in his study. Taryn might be upstairs in her room, texting my ex-fiancé, about what they'll do to each other next time. With these thoughts, I finally arrive at my destination. The front door opens. Taryn steps out to check the mail, wearing the red sweater she borrowed from me last month. She hasn't seen my car yet. My fingers hover over the door handle. Do I confront her now? Storm in with screenshots blazing? Or do I wait, plan my approach, make sure this revelation detonates with maximum impact? The answer will change everything. The soft murmur of the evening news fills our living room as I step through the front door. Mom and Dad sit in their usual spots, Dad in his leather recliner, Mom perched on the edge of the floral couch. Taryn lounges between them, scrolling through her phone. So normal, so perfect. My stomach lurches. Claire? Mom looks up, her smile fading as she takes in my expression. Honey, what's wrong? The remote control sits on the coffee table. 3 button presses and the television switches to screen mirroring. My trembling fingers find the screenshots, and I hit share. The messages flood across our 60-inch screen in high definition. Each word sears into the pristine family tableau like acid. Miss you already, baby. Still tasting on my lips. Next time I want you to. Mom's hand flies to her mouth. Dad's newspaper crumbles in his fist. And Taryn just sits there, one eyebrow raised, lips curved in that familiar smirk I once thought meant sisterly mischief. The crack of Mom's palm against Taryn's cheek splinters the silence. How could you? Mom's voice shakes. Your own sister? Dad surges from his recliner, face purple. Under my roof? You brought that snake into our home? A small whimper draws my attention to the corner. Grace crouches behind the couch, her science fair ribbon clutched to her chest. Her wide eyes dart between us all, trying to understand why her family is shattering. Yeah, I did it. Taryn touches her reddened cheek, that smirk never wavering. So what? So what? Dad's roar rattles the family photos. You betrayed your sister? You? Please. Taryn rolls her eyes. Claire always gets everything. The grades, the job, the perfect boyfriend. Maybe I wanted something for myself for once. My throat closes around the bitter laugh trying to escape. Something for yourself? He was my fiancé. Not anymore. Her gaze drops pointedly to my bare left hand. The next 48 hours blur past in a haze of slammed doors and tearful phone calls. Mom trying to reason with Taryn, Dad threatening to call Logan's employer. Grace slipping notes under my bedroom door saying she still loves me. Then comes the family dinner. Mom insists we all attend. Something about healing and moving forward. I push peas around my plate while Tam picks at her chicken. I have an announcement, Taryn says suddenly, her voice ringing with false sweetness. I'm pregnant. With Logan's baby. My fork clatters against china. Mom's face crumples. Dad's hand trembles as he reaches for his water glass. You're sure? Mom whispers. Taryn nods, one hand sliding to her still flat stomach. 8 weeks, Logan and I, we're going to make it work. The old family portrait above the fireplace catches my eye, all of us in white shirts and blue jeans, Taryn's arms slung around my shoulders. My teenage smile beams back at me, unaware that the sister squeezing her so tight would one day squeeze the life from her heart. Claire, Mom starts, her tone shifting to something careful, practiced. I know this is difficult, but what? The words scrape my throat. But she's family? But she's having a baby? We can't abandon her now. Dad won't meet my eyes. She needs support medical care. I found the doctor's number on your notepad this morning. My chair screeches against hardwood as I stand. You've already made appointments for her, haven't you? Mom's silence answers for her. That night, I packed 2 suitcases in my childhood bedroom. Photos, clothes, the books I'd left behind when I moved in with Logan. The life I'd built here suddenly feels like a museum of betrayal. A soft knock at my door reveals Grace, her small face streaked with tears. She presses something into my Palma bracelet woven from embroidery thread, the kind we used to make during summer camp. Don't forget me, she whispers. I crush her against me, breathing in the scent of strawberry shampoo and innocence. Never. Downstairs, Mom and Dad hover near the front door. Their faces wear matching masks of parental concern masking relief. They won't have to choose sides if I remove myself from the equation. You've already chosen, I tell them quietly. I'm just making it official. Grace watches from the upstairs window as I load my car. In the glow of the porch light, her small hand presses against the glass. I force myself not to look back as I drive away, but my rearview mirror captures one final image: me, baby sister's silhouette, forever frozen in that window, witnessing how quickly love can turn to ashes. Some say blood runs thicker than water. But they never mention how blood can poison the well, turning everything it touches bitter and undrinkable. As streetlights blur past my windshield, I wonder if there's enough distance in the world to dilute the toxin of family betrayal. 3 months later, morning sunlight streams through my studio window, painting rectangles on the bare wood floor. 600 square feet of freedom. The realtor called it cozy. I call it a sanctuary. San Diego wasn't my first choice. Too close to Santa Barbara, too many memories of family beach trips. But the ocean pulled me here anyway. Maybe because running to mountains or desert felt too much like hiding. My laptop chimes with Grace's morning video call. Her freckled face fills the screen, yesterday's math test clutched in her hands. 98%. She bounces in her chair, dark curls wild from sleep. Miss Patterson said my proof was elegant. That's incredible, kiddo. The pride in my voice drowns out the ache of missing her. Tell me about the proof. She launches into an explanation of angles and parallel lines. I let her enthusiasm wash over me, remembering how she used to explain her science projects to Logan with that same sparkle. The memory stings less now, dulled by 3 months of distance. Claire? Grace's voice shifts. Mom asked about you again. I study the stack of marketing reports on my desk. Focus on your theorems, okay? You're going to be the next Katherine Johnson. After we hang up, I slip on running shoes and head down to the beach. The morning fog hasn't burned off yet, wrapping the shore in gauzy white. My new routine, 5 miles along the water before work. The rhythm of waves and footsteps clears my head better than any therapy session. A yellow lab bounds up, tennis ball dropped at my feet. Behind him, his owner raises an apologetic hand. Sorry, Cooper's still learning boundaries. I toss the ball, watching Cooper's joyful chase. My first real smile in weeks surprises me, stretching unfamiliar muscles. At work the next day, I threw myself into the Johnson account rebrand. My team doesn't ask about the ring-shaped tan line on my finger or why I transferred from Santa Barbara. They just slide coffee onto my desk during late nights and invite me to Thursday happy hours. Your presentation was killer, Sarah says, dropping into the chair beside my desk. That pitch about generational marketing? Jackson never nodded so much in meetings. Thanks. I closed the folder containing Dad's last birthday card, tucked between market research reports. The client demographic reminded me of my father. Speaking of killer work, Marcus appears in my doorway, winter sunlight gleaming off his bald head. How's our newest senior marketing strategist sound? The promotion announcement feels surreal. 3 months ago, I could barely get out of bed. Now I'm climbing the corporate ladder, proof that forward motion is possible even with a shattered foundation. That night, my new work family insists on celebrating. We crowd into a corner booth at La Maria, wine flowing as freely as conversation. For the first time since the betrayal, laughter doesn't feel like betrayal. My phone buzzes. Grace's contact photo appears, her gap-toothed smile from last Christmas, probably calling to congratulate me after seeing my LinkedIn update. Dad died, Claire. Her voice breaks, young and lost. His heart just stopped at breakfast. Mom said, she said I tried calling, but your number changed and... The restaurant window reflects my face, bloodless and still. Behind me, Sarah raises her glass in a toast I can't hear. The world narrows to Grace's ragged breathing and the thud of my pulse. I'll be there in 6 hours. My voice sounds far away. Pack a bag if you want to stay with me after. The drive north blurs into a stream of taillights and memories. Dad teaching me to ride a bike. His quiet pride when I made honor roll. The way he squeezed my shoulder at graduation, whispering, "You're going to change the world, Claire Bear." The familiar house has brought me back to reality from my thoughts. Black wreaths hang on the porch columns of my childhood home. The sight stops me at the end of the driveway, hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel. Taryn stands in the doorway, one hand resting on her swollen belly. Logan, no, Mike now, hovers behind her like a shadow. But then Grace bursts through them, gangly legs carrying her down the steps. She slams into me with the force of grief, face buried in my shoulder. You came. Always for you. I smooth her tangled curls, breathing in the familiar scent of Mom's lavender shampoo. The next morning, I sit in a sterile hospital office, facing Dad's cardiologist. Papers scatter his desk, medical records. I technically have no right to see. But small-town connections run deep, and he knew Dad for 20 years. Your father's condition developed rapidly. Dr. Martinez removes his glasses, polishing them with his coat sleeve. The first symptoms appeared about 2 months ago. He asked about bringing you to appointments, but someone always said you were too busy with your new job. My throat closes. 2 months. The time I'd been gone. He left this at his last appointment. The doctor slides a phone across his desk. Dad's old flip phone, the one Mom always teased him about keeping. The nurse found it when cleaning out his personal effects. The last unsent text glows on the tiny screen. I miss you, Claire Bear. Dinner at Angelo's next week? my treat. Draft saved. The 15th of October. 3 days before his death. I pocket the phone, another piece of him stolen by lies. The weight of it presses against my ribs, a constant reminder that grief compounds like interest, loss upon loss, betrayal upon betrayal. Tomorrow will bury him. The father who taught me integrity, felled by a heart that tried to bridge too many family divides. The man who wanted one last dinner with his daughter but let others silence his voice. How do you mourn someone taken twice? First by family deception, then by death's finality. The answer waits in the funeral home's parking lot, in the carefully chosen words of his eulogy, in the weight of decisions yet to come. But for now, I sit in the gathering dark of the doctor's office, clutching a phone full of unsent love, learning that even the strongest hearts can break in silence. The next day at the funeral, the wooden pews of First Presbyterian creak beneath shifting bodies. Whispers flutter through the air like autumn leaves, carrying fragments of phrases that slice deep. Family drama. Such a shame. That poor baby. I sit alone in the back row, hands folded in my lap. The morning light filters through stained glass, painting the sanctuary in jewel tones that mock the darkness of this moment. 3 rows ahead, Taryn leans against Logan, or Mike, as he calls himself now. Her black dress stretches tight across her swollen belly. Mother dabs at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. The same one she used to wipe my scraped knees as a child, back when family meant safety instead of betrayal. Grace fidgets beside her, tugging at the collar of her black dress. Our eyes meet across the space between pews. Her small shoulders straighten. The minister drones about eternal rest and loving families. I close my eyes against memories of Dad teaching me to ride a bike, of Sunday morning pancakes shaped like Disney characters, of the proud smile when I graduated college. All the moments Taryn and Mother kept from me at the end. A rustle of fabric, small feet padding across carpet. I open my eyes to find Grace sliding into my pew, her chin lifted in defiance as Mother hisses her name. She takes my hand, her grip fierce and warm. "You shouldn't be alone," she whispers. After the funeral, we went to hear the final will and the testament revelation. The law office feels like a tomb. Dark wood panels absorb what little sunlight filters through Venetian blinds. Family photos of the senior partners stare down at us, generations of successful men in expensive suits passing judgment from their frames. Mother perches on the edge of her chair like a bird ready for flight. Taryn sprawls in hers, one hand resting on her stomach. Mike's fingers drum against his armrest, his wedding band catching the light. The same ring that once belonged to Logan Marshall now marks Michael Preston's family. I chose the chair farthest from them, Grace a protective barrier between us. The leather portfolio in my lap holds resignation papers from my job in San Diego, lease termination documents, a one-way plane ticket back to California. After this, I never have to see them again. Mr. Patterson shuffles papers on his mahogany desk. His wire-rimmed glasses catch the light as he studies each page with careful deliberation. The wall clock ticks, seconds stretch into minutes. "Well," he clears his throat. "Shall we begin?" The standard legal language washes over us. Property distributions. Tax considerations. My father's life reduced to line items and dollar signs. I focus on breathing, on the steady pressure of Grace's hand in mine. The distribution of liquid assets. Mr. 1. Patterson adjusts his glasses. To my eldest daughter, Claire Elizabeth Bennett, I leave 45% of my total estate, approximately $720,000. The words don't register at first. Then Taryn's scream shatters the silence. "That's impossible." She surges to her feet, papers scattering. "Daddy would never..." To my youngest daughter, Grace Marie Bennett, 25%. Mr. Patterson continues as if she hadn't spoken. To my wife, Margaret Ann Bennett, 20%. Mother's face drains of color. Her fingers clench around her handkerchief until the knuckles turn white. And to my middle daughter, Taryn Louise Preston, 10%. Mike's calculating gaze fixes on me. The predatory assessment in his eyes turns my stomach. "This is wrong." Taryn's voice trembles. "I'm having his grandchild. He knew that." "Mr." Patterson removes his glasses, polishing them with careful precision. "The will was updated 3 weeks before your father's passing. He was of sound mind and body when he made these changes." 3 weeks. While they told me he was too busy to talk. While they screened my calls and deleted my messages. while they stole my last chances to say goodbye. There's more. Mr. Patterson opens a drawer, withdrawing a cream-colored envelope. My name sprawls across the front in Dad's familiar handwriting. Your father left this for you, Claire. The paper feels warm against my fingers, as if it holds some echo of his touch. I break the seal with trembling hands. My dearest Claire Bear, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. The doctors give me weeks, maybe days. Your mother and sister don't know I'm writing this. They think they're protecting me by keeping you away, but their protection feels like prison. I failed you, sweetheart. I saw what was happening between Logan and Taryn, the glances, the secret meetings, but I told myself I was imagining things, that no daughter of mine could betray her sister that way. By the time I found proof, the damage was done. I failed to protect you when it mattered most. This is the one thing I can still make right. Use this money to build the life you deserve, far from their poison. And please, watch over Grace. She needs the strength and integrity I see in you. I love you, Claire Bear. I'm sorry I didn't say it enough. Dad. Tears splash onto the page, smearing the ink. I fold the letter with careful precision, tucking it into my jacket pocket near my heart. This is ridiculous. Mike's voice cuts through my grief. You can't honestly expect us to accept these terms. The will is legally binding. Mr. Patterson's tone could freeze hell. Any challenge would be costly and unlikely to succeed. The screech of chair legs against hardwood makes me flinch. Mike looms over me, cologne and menace radiating from his expensive suit. We need to talk, now. I stand slowly, matching his height in my heels. No, we don't. The baby is none of my concern. The words taste like victory. Grace follows me to the parking lot, her small hand still clutched in mine. The afternoon sun blinds after the office's darkness. I dig in my purse for sunglasses, for car keys, for escape. Claire! Mike's voice rings across asphalt. You need to do the right thing for the baby. I unlock my rental car, helping Grace inside. Mike's reflection grows larger in the driver's side window. This isn't over, he snarls. Yes. I slide behind the wheel. It is. The first text arrives before I reach the hotel. Unknown number. Hope you sleep well tonight. Then another. And another. Each one listing creative ways to make my life difficult. I pull into the hotel parking lot as my phone chimes with Taryn's number. Delete without reading. The screen lights up again immediately. Delete. The rental car's tire gives a slow hiss as I step out. Then another. And another. All 4 tires slumping against pavement, rubber slashed with surgical precision. I stare at the damage, at this calculated message. The sun sets behind mountains in the distance, painting the sky in shades of fire. They think they can intimidate me into surrendering Dad's final gift, into falling back in line with their twisted version of family obligation, into becoming the victim again. I take out my phone, dialing the police with steady fingers. Time to show them exactly how wrong they are. 2 weeks later, the website appears in my inbox, sent by 3 different coworkers within an hour. Photos of me stumbling out of bars, dancing on tables, doing lines of cocaine off strangers' abs. All fabricated. All bearing my name and workplace. My phone buzzes, a text from my mother. Everyone in town is talking about this. What have you done to your sister? I close the message without responding and open my notebook, adding another tally mark to the growing list of harassment incidents. 37 marks. 37 attempts to break me in the 2 weeks since the will reading. The man watching me from the hotel lobby makes 38. He pretends to read a newspaper, but his eyes follow my every move. Same height and build as the one who slashed my tires last week. Same close-cropped hair as the delivery man who tried to get my new address. My phone rings. Grace. Claire? Her voice trembles. Mom, let Taryn and Mike move into the house. Into your old room, they're throwing all your stuff in garbage bags. The leather portfolio sits heavy in my lap, filled with screenshots, police reports, security footage, evidence collected like breadcrumbs, leading straight to my sister and her husband. It's okay, Gracie. I'm handling it. But, trust me. I'm reaching the elevator after the call is finished. The elevator opens. I stand, smoothing my charcoal pencil skirt. The man with the newspaper shifts, starting to rise. A police officer entering the lobby catches his eye. He sits back down. Later that day, I drove to the law office to inquire about my next steps to protect both me and my little sister. Patricia Chen's law office occupies the entire 20th floor. The receptionist leads me to a corner office where a woman in her 60s sits behind a massive oak desk. Her silver hair forms an elegant crown, but her eyes hold steel. Miss Bennett. She gestures to the chair across from her. Show me what you've brought. I open the portfolio, place the evidence in neat stacks. Text messages, photos, police reports, hotel security footage. My hands don't shake anymore when I handle them. 38 incidents in 14 days, I say. All traceable to my sister Taryn Williams or her husband Michael Williams. Patricia studies each document, her expression unchanging. When she reaches the hotel security footage showing Mike's connection to my tire slashing, she removes her reading glasses. You've been thorough. Most people crack long before gathering this much evidence. I'm not most people. No, she smiles slightly. You're not. The restraining order takes effect within hours. My mother's signature on the witness statement carries weight in our small town. She might enable Taryn, but she won't commit perjury for her. A week later, I exit the courthouse into weak autumn sunlight. Dead leaves skitter across the steps, and the air holds the sharp promise of rain. A shadow falls across my path. This isn't over until we get what's ours. Mike's breath fogs in the cold. Family takes care of family. Step back, sir. Officer Roberts appears at my elbow, hand resting on his belt. You're in violation of a restraining order. Mike's sneer falters. I'm just talking to my sister. Former sister-in-law, I correct. And you're within 50 feet of me. Officer Roberts, I'd like to press charges. The handcuffs click like music. The same night, my hotel room door buzzes at midnight. Through the peephole, I see my mother wringing her hands in the hallway. Claire, please, just talk to me. I open the door but block the entrance. Why are you here? Can't you just give them something to make this stop? Her voice cracks. The baby needs a proper home. Your father would have wanted. Did you ever ask them to stop hurting me? The question hangs between us like frost. Mother's mouth opens, closes. That's what I thought. I start to close the door. Wait. She catches the edge. I never meant, I just didn't want to choose. But you did choose, Mom. Every time you looked the other way. Every time you told me to keep the peace. Every time you chose Taryn's drama over my dignity. The first tears I've seen on my mother's face in years carve silent tracks down her cheeks. I enabled the wrong child, didn't I? I don't answer. Don't need to. The next morning, Mike's arrest makes the local news. Hotel security footage shows him attempting to access my room at 3 a.m., violating the restraining order twice in 24 hours. The reporter mentions his previous assault charge from college. The one Taryn swore was a misunderstanding. Taryn launches a tearful Facebook campaign about her cruel sister abandoning family during her pregnancy. The comments fill with links to police reports and court documents. The screenshots of their affair surface. Public opinion shifts like the autumn leaves outside my window. I say nothing, post nothing. The evidence speaks clearly enough without my voice joining the chorus. My phone buzzes. A text from my mother. I'm sorry. 2 words. Too late. I add them to my evidence folder anyway. Proof that sometimes silence speaks louder than screams and dignity outlasts drama. The rain finally breaks. I watch it wash the dead leaves from the courthouse steps, clearing the path forward one drop at a time. The doorman tips his hat as I cross the marble lobby. Evening, Miss Bennett. His weathered face crinkles with genuine warmth. After 6 months, Marcus knows my schedule better than I do, noting which delivery services I trust and which visitors belong on the absolutely not list. My heels click against the floor as I head for the elevator. The sound echoes differently here than it did in Logan's apartment that last day. Stronger, purposeful. The mirrored walls reflect a woman I'm finally starting to recognize again. The apartment welcomes me with afternoon sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. No family photos crowd the walls, no inherited furniture weighs down the rooms. Every piece tells a new story. The vintage record player I found at a street fair, the hand-woven blanket from that tiny shop in La Jolla, the abstract painting created during a wine and canvas night with coworkers who became friends. My phone buzzes. The investment app notification shows another dividend payment posted. Dad's inheritance keeps working quietly in the background, growing steadily in the accounts my financial advisor helped establish. Not that Taryn knows this, she still thinks I donated everything to charity just to spite her. A key turns in the lock. Grace bursts in, weekend bag slung over her shoulder, long brown hair escaping its braid. At 11, she's all elbows and knees and fierce intelligence. "Claire, you won't believe what happened in science class." She drops her bag and launches into a story about frogs and failed experiments and her teacher's surprised laughter. I watch her gesture dramatically, remembering how she used to stifle her enthusiasm around Mom and Taryn. Now her voice fills every corner of the room. The oven timer chimes. "Come help me with dinner?" I ask. "Jen and David are coming over, and I promised them your famous garlic bread." Grace beams. She loves playing sous chef when my coworkers visit, soaking up their stories about college and careers and lives built on choices rather than obligations. They've become our chosen family, filling our Thanksgivings with laughter instead of tension, celebrating victories without keeping score. While Grace arranges herbs on the bread, I spot my therapist's business card tucked against the fruit bowl. "Doctor." Patterson's voice echoes in my mind. "Healing isn't linear. Some days you'll laugh without guilt. Other days the pain will feel fresh. Both are valid." She was right. The laughter comes easier now. Sometimes I catch myself humming while cooking or smiling at strangers on my morning run. Small moments of joy no longer feel like betrayal. After dinner, Grace sprawls on the couch with her math homework while I review foundation paperwork. The small nonprofit started with a portion of Dad's inheritance, offering legal aid to women trapped in toxic relationships. Next week, we're opening our third shelter. Dad's watch sits on my desk. Its hands frozen at 3:47, the last time we spoke before his heart gave out. Some days I wind it, let it tick forward, imagine conversations we'll never have. Other days I leave it still, a reminder that time doesn't heal all wounds. Sometimes it just gives you space to build something new from the broken pieces. The corner of an unopened envelope peeks from my desk drawer. Taryn's handwriting, her latest attempt at what? Reconciliation? Manipulation? The choice to read it remains mine. Like the choice to keep the trust fund for Grace's college separate from my own accounts. Like the choice to change my emergency contacts to people who've earned that trust. A message dings on my phone, photos from Jen showing tonight's candid moments. Grace teaching David her secret garlic bread technique. Me laughing at one of Jen's horrible puns. The genuine joy captured in each frame strikes me. When did I stop looking over my shoulder? When did I start believing I deserved this peace? Later, after Grace falls asleep watching old movies, I stand at the window. The city sparkles below, 1,000 lights reflecting possibilities. My phone shows a missed call from Mom. No voicemail. No text. Just her name on the screen, waiting for my choice. Grace mumbles something in her sleep, curling deeper into the blanket I tucked around her. The sight centers me. One family bond survived the storm, emerging stronger for the struggle. One bridge rebuilt on a foundation of truth instead of obligation. A smile tugs at my lips as I whisper the words that have become my mantra. Some bridges burn for a reason. Others we rebuild stronger than before. The city lights blur as I press my palm against the cool glass. Behind me, Grace's steady breathing fills the quiet. Ahead, the future stretches wide open. For the first time in months, I'm not searching the horizon for storms. I'm just watching the stars emerge, one brilliant point at a time.